Choose your journey. It's time. It's time to walk the path to peace. Elevate your potential and become a beacon of positive change. Your path brought you here for a reason. Dive in. Embrace the power of collective growth and unlock the masterpiece of your life. The path to peace awaits.
Ready for Gaia?
How can we be resilient in a world that's growing more volatile by the day? How can we thrive?
Don't buy into the fear. It's about waking up.
Explore the world's largest library of conscious media with thousands of films and original programs.
People all over the planet are waking up.
Gaia is ready for you.
We can adapt our lifestyle to this time of extremes.
For the seekers.
Inside, he was able to detect the fetus of some creature. It is clear by scientists that it's something different. It is not human.
The wanderers.
In ancient times, the Atlanteans were said to have an advanced technology and power supply based on crystals.
The dreamers.
My dream is to help people understand how the universe operates so that each person can find their own unique purpose within the cosmic plan.
And the doers.
Thoughts can have an effect on your brain, your body, and your life. And I'm going to show you how to rewire your mind, your heart, and your body.
For those who dare to travel their own path.
Our potential to access the supermind is no longer simply theoretical. How can we hack our history to change our future?
We are meant to learn again and again in this life that truth does indeed set us free.
Now we are proposing a new beginning, a new history for human beings.
Alrighty, excited for tonight. Getting together with our friends, and Liz and I get to hang out with Emily and Jason once again. We usually have dinner when we're doing this, but we get to do it with you all, so it's really awesome. And thank you to Gaia for continued support and bringing forward everything that we do and continuing to move things forward consciously for so many different people. So please check out Gaia.com/Sid. You can go on and practice yoga, meditation, check in with different things for you to increase your knowledge and gain a different perspective to move things forward. And I'm really excited about this conversation tonight because we've been doing this. This is now the third month in December, and this journey into peace is where we are today, and continuing to move that conversation around with everything that we have in the name of relationships. And that's why we have Jason and Emily with us, as they have a beautiful relationship. I like to say that we do too. So I'm really excited to continue these conversations. And thank you. Let's get everybody up here and we'll introduce everybody and give them a chance to say hello. Liz, you came up first, so go ahead. How was your day today?
Hello, everyone. Great to be here again, especially with Jason and Emily. And my day was good. I got this warm, cozy turtleneck on, so I'm bracing the cold weather here in Florida. And I know Jason and Sid have got their flannels on too, so it's going to be a good one.
You know, I will say that we've been down here for 3 years now, and I can't believe you just let everybody know that we are punks, because it's not really cold in Florida. It just is what it is. And, you know, I'll accept it for this and only this, that I am a punk about the cold. That's why we moved to Florida. Emily, how are you?
Sorry, I was muted there. Like every meeting, I always start talking and I'm muted. I'm great. I'm great. We packed so much in today, so I feel like I have just run the gamut today and I'm ready for bed.
What was the best part of today that you packed in?
The best part of today was doing about like 5 of our health things that we do in the morning all in a row, starting from like 5 a.m. today to like, what was it, 11, 12?
Now, do you usually wake up at 5 a.m.?
We both try to wake up really early. I think because we're both morning people. So, although lately I think for the past couple months, my whole thing has been lowering cortisol levels. So if I need to sleep in, I sleep in with no hesitation, because my priority is getting healthy.
Right on. I will say that one of us is very much a morning person and an evening person. So we go to bed. My dad thinks we should be in bed, and I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be in bed till probably midnight. But he's like 9 o'clock. You on your way to bed? I'm like, no, man, not at all. And then today I woke up at like 3:15. So then I went and laid down. I couldn't sleep. So then I started meditating at 4:04. And here I am. I'm just forever up. I don't know what that's. It's how it works. Yeah. Jason, what's up, man? Nice flannel.
Thanks. I wore it in your honor, because it is freezing cold in Charleston, South Carolina.
It's not that cold.
It's not. No, we just got back from a trip where we were in Salt Lake City, and we landed and it was snowing. And I'm like, I'm never coming back to this. I lived half my life. Well, up until 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I lived in the mountains. And so not doing that anymore. Yeah. Didn't miss it. It was fantastic. It was a great trip. We went out there and in support of a really amazing cause, and somebody who I remember. It was funny because we went and were able to go back to the exact coffee shop and in the exact same place where she kicked off her nonprofit. And now it's 6 years later, and she's, doing the Anton J thing and the growth course thing. And she's crushing it, really helping a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people with her deal. And again, with people that are in the darkest parts of their life, and she just loves them. And that's amazing. So yeah, it was great. And then getting up early with my wife, and we crushed it today. All of the stuff.
Yeah.
Red light therapy, cold plunge, sauna, grounding, working out, all the stuff. We crushed it. So it's been an awesome day.
So what's the workout look like? Or do you all work out together, or do you work out apart? How do you do that?
So we'll train together at the gym for weights. And it's just kind of when things coincide, like my upper body with her upper body or her legs. I hate laying. You want to talk about somebody that's got a strong lower body? This woman can kick my ass on the squat rack. But
right.
Oh yeah, she's very, very strong. But yeah, so she does Pilates, and I'm doing boxing. So sometimes we'll do boxing together. I have never done Pilates, probably never will. But yeah, and then she loves to walk. I can't stand to walk. It's seems like a pointless exercise to me, but but it's except for like walking on the beach for enjoyment. you know, not as an exercise. I'd rather ride bikes, you know, do stuff like that.
Now, Steve Jobs, I can't remember who his CEO was, but that's how they met every morning. They took like a 3-hour walk.
Yeah.
And what I've heard is in the midst of their walk, just moving their body kept their mind clear, so that allowed them to go into places they weren't normally thinking about. So
Yeah,
I'm forever taking a walk.
I believe that. I have a treadmill desk in this office, and it's been the best thing because I can't sit still for long periods of time. That's why I try to like keep myself from fidgeting, even on like a podcast. But if I have a treadmill desk, it feels like I'm doing something else, and my brain focuses in a way that it can't when I'm sitting. It's really weird. I don't know anything about it except that I work better when I'm walking. And I think
it helps her hypnotize people to close them too, because she's like swaying back and forth, you know. They get hypnotized, and then all of a sudden she's like, "And you're in," and they're like, "Yes, I will."
I don't
sign
do
the
sales
contract.
calls from treadmill desks. I do sit for sales calls. Thank you, but I don't.
Right on. So do you all practice yoga ever?
I have done yoga. I can't say that I've done the practice where I'm like getting into my, I guess it's called my practice. I've always used it as an exercise when I've done it, and the teacher has been like, you have to just see this as your journey. And I'm like, I can't. I've got to win this class, you know. But it would be good for me to do. Pilates is new for me, and that's like my step towards yoga, where I'm like still like, it's been a whole different type of workout. We've always just lifted together and boxed, and I just like more HIIT workouts, treadmill sprints, and again, my whole thing on just de-stress and workout, but keep clear, like keep the adrenals on par or whatever they need to be doing. Pilates has been helping me towards that. I'd love to get into yoga one day. I've done it enough to know that it's really good. I did it a month ago, and I was like, this is so amazing, and I am not good at it, but I like it.
I did hot yoga. I did hot yoga for years. Loved it.
You're talking Bikram Hot 26.
Bikram. Yeah, Bikram. Yeah, it was I loved it because it felt like a workout. You know, it felt like a workout. And I haven't gotten to a point where I'm like, I need yoga. Boxing keeps me from smacking people upside the head, you know?
Right on.
As weird as that sounds, that's my place that I go in my head for peace. Sid.
You know, I actually, a friend of mine, her name is Beth. She has a yoga studio in Charleston, and I'm trying to hook up with her so I can come and kick both of your butts. So
you will see how not flexible both of us are. We're like boards.
I'm really flexible. I stretch before every workout.
Yeah,
I do. I do one of these, you know. Oh yeah.
Look, he can't even do that. Did you see that? That's how flexible both of us are.
I can do stretch over the head. I got it. Look.
Right on. I
see that?
I see it. Yes. Yeah. Sure.
And I'm breathing heavy.
I would love to do yoga with you guys. I think that would be so cool. You seem to teach it. It's more than just a workout. Like the experiences that I've had is through my gym. So it's, it's a really great intro, I think, for me. And they're very good teachers. They're very high level. They're amazing. But you are so into attaching that to, I think, the whole practice. It would be probably much more meaningful to me if I took it with you too.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'm going to make fun of you the whole class. I'll make fun of you the whole class.
Don't make fun of him until he stretches a leg like this, and you're gonna be like, "All right, I'm done."
You know, my best friend, our best man in our wedding. We were in Naples one day, and he just happened to be in Naples when we were there, and we just happened. I said, "Hey, check out this car, man." He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Naples." He's like, "Man, I'm down here for the NFL." Rules committee meeting. Where? And so we were literally like a block away. So he came over, and next day he takes the class, and he was like, "Dude, I've never had my butt handed like that." So I think we're good.
Just let me know, because I'm gonna go get one of those 1980s Lycra yoga pants.
I like it. I like it. You could put on a onesie if you want. I mean, do you. Just do you.
I will.
Last time he made fun of clothing, might I add, it was Lululemon, and someone shipped him Lululemon pants as a gift after he said this on a podcast, and he became a full-blown Lululemon wearer. Like, he was completely addicted. So
I'm a lemonite. I'm a lemonite.
a lemonade, is that it? He's a lemonade.
You're right on. Awesome. All right. So, I think this is just part of it. Like, really, when I think of relationships and peace, it's the ability to have a conversation and keep the conversation. Like, I love that Liz and I, if we go out to dinner, sometimes I'll see other people, and this isn't judgments, but they're on their phone, they're disconnected from the space where they are. And we've all been able to break bread together, and we easily talk and we hold space. So that's like the first couple of months of really like being able to communicate in a way that everybody's able to listen is the foundation of this to me. And then advancing from that. And this journey, as I look at it now, it's like the starting point we've covered. And now we're looking at, okay, what does it look like truly to have a foundation of peace in relationships? And to me, one of the things that comes up is moving into what we'll get to more about at the end is lesson 10. And lesson 10 is the foundation has been poured, and now continuing to make that foundation available in our relationships, because we've talked about it. We've begun to really look at and commit to that space of peace. And now it's like, okay, what does that look like in our own lives? And especially right now, we're in this holiday season, and a lot of people going back to their bigger family, right? Like the families that we're born into, and are unable to keep the same peace they may have in their own house with their couple, or however that works. And now, how do you all keep it going back into seeing your family members if you don't have peace in that place at different points in time, which often can be a loss? Jason, why don't you go for it?
Okay. I was just leaving room for my lady.
I know, but we always do this.
My lady. So
I just saw your eyes glimmer, and I was like, Jason wants to take this.
My eyes are always glimmering around you, baby.
Okay.
So that was a good one.
I'm gonna hold up a block of cheese like every time you say something cheesy like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna get through that.
Cheese.
Good thing I'm not lactose intolerant.
Cheese.
Anyway, sure. I love the concept of a foundation that you talked about, because Emily is my very best friend, like my very, very best friend. We say that to each other all the time, right? We always say, you're my best good friend, and from that foundation, there's lots of things. Like it's a switch. My grandpa always used to say that it should be 90-10 in the relationship. You should always feel like, or be inspired to be giving 90 and receiving 10. And it really feels that way, because I know she's always giving to me. I'm always looking for different ways to make her laugh, she's looking for ways to push me and to, really not require, but really she's made me, and it sounds so cheesy when I say it, but really made me want to be a better man. And I've always wanted, for lots of years, I've wanted to be a better man, but it hits different with her, and from that foundation, we're rock solid. There's no cracks in the foundation, and we have built, right? You say the next level, once you have a solid foundation, is to build, and we have built an amazing home that is us, and it's beautiful. And there's new rooms constantly, and we are always looking to the future. So, so going back into family, we just got back from seeing my family. We went from Salt Lake City to see all my family in Colorado. And, you know, it's good to see us rub off on the rest of our family. And, you know, my family absolutely adores everything about Emily. I'm starting to think that they like her more than they like me, which is not hard to imagine for everybody that knows her and knows me. You know, and then you've got, you know, when we're around, like her dad, you know, her dad is just amazing guy. You know, he's one of those guys that is he's just done it, right? His whole life, he's just done it. And through his challenges, through challenges that have popped up, he's just, you know, you talk about a sparkle in an eye, you know what I mean? Like he's just a really happy guy. I think you guys got to meet him at the wedding, you know, and it's just been so amazing. And it's, nobody can mess with us. You know, nobody can mess with us. We are a fortress. And that's kind of how I look at it, right? We've got it up on our board. She gets my best and the world gets the rest.
I love
Awesome.
that.
That's a good mic drop.
Mm-hmm.
Mine doesn't drop. It's on some spring-loaded thing here, but
Please.
Emily, what are your thoughts around this?
I think that was beautifully said, and you're my best good friend. But I think you're right. There's an intentionality behind what we've done with our relationship. Like nothing we make sure that nothing we are doing in our relationship is done without thought or just passively. So everything, every word we say, every interaction we have with each other, it's intentional. And I think that's what's cultivated this relationship we see today. And we had to work towards that. We had to learn that. And I think it was so powerful so that when we are around family or friends that might have a different viewpoint than us or might be in a different place that isn't quite from joy or whatever it is, we make sure that it doesn't affect us. And sometimes it means we remind ourselves of that before we enter the situation so that we can make sure that we're in lockstep and just remember, you know, we are each other's person. We're the fortress here. Don't let anyone steal that joy. And we had to have that conversation a few times, just with family and friend, you know, things that come up in life. And it really tested that foundation. And thankfully the foundation didn't crack. In fact, we looked at it and saw how amazing our relationship was. And I think that made us extra grateful for what we have. So I think Jason summarized it really nicely. So I don't have too much to add.
I love it. I love it. And Dr. Lauren said, hello, beautiful people. What's up, buddy? We all know Dr. Lauren. He was at your wedding and obviously he's here on last Monday, the first Monday of the month. So thank you for tuning in, bro, and appreciate you. You look like you did some work today, at least in your picture, yet it's always there. So not sure if you did any real work today.
Love you, Lauren. Give Brian a hug.
Awesome. Liz, what are your thoughts here on this?
Yeah, I love what Jason and Emily said and really felt like that sense of being a unit in those moments. So I loved that. And I think for me in my own personal journey, thinking of having peace in a relationship and being part of a bigger relationship with coming back to family on a bigger sense, what has been really helpful for me is having that foundation of inner peace for myself. And I know through a lot of your teaching, Sid, you talk about the concept of reflections. And that's kind of a personal practice that I've taken with me with any relationship, you know, of our relationship, Sid, but also friendships, even work relationships, or even with a stranger, the notion that whatever I'm seeing or experiencing with another has something to do with me because I'm in that relationship. So that's something that I always try to look at. And I feel like the further I have grown on my own inner peace journey, the more I'm able to hold that with anyone that I'm interacting with. So that's what's coming up for me.
Awesome. I have this saying, and I actually had a teacher say, Sid, that's not true at first. And this saying that I love is too much of anything is just too much. I don't care if it's too much candy, if it's too much love, it's too much is too much. And so I often, when I think of family members, there's those moments where I'm like, oh, this has become too much, uh, to where I want to step back and find my own peace and then re-engage again. So are there any moments like that where you are able to see where too much is just too much and it's time to recalculate or bring back that center to peace? And we'll just bump it up to Emily first, and Liz, then Jason. Go for it.
Well, I think just to continue on the previous answers that we all shared, I think we have found when we are in situations that might pull us away from each other or are kind of set up to pull us away from each other, we pause and we kind of recalibrate in looking at the situation and say, is this healthy for us to be around? Is this the place where we create, we don't have to necessarily be away from certain people, but it's certainly helpful to have those people in a certain place so that you can maintain the integrity of your relationship. Because for us, the integrity of our relationship is the number one priority. And so if we're around people, whether it's family, friends, or just people in business or whatever that is, we meet with so many people throughout any given week. You can start to identify the people. And that's one of the perks of having your own business, is that you can choose who you work with or not. And I didn't have that luxury when I first started my business, and I didn't have that luxury when I worked for the law firm. But now I get to be like, that person, you couldn't pay me enough to work for that person, because the stress that issue causes me, or that the drama that they're bringing into my team's life that I now carry into after I close the laptop and I bring into my relationship with Jason, is never worth it. And that's what I'm always trying to think about. 40 years from now, am I going to be happy that I worked with someone that was not great for my life, but made me extra money? No. But what matters to me is that I got to hold Jason's hand today and share so many beautiful moments with him. And I got to create and cultivate a life like that. And that life is created by saying no to certain people and saying yes to certain people, or saying yes, but this is where it stops. This is the types of conversations we are not having. These are the places where, I don't want to necessarily call it a boundary, but I guess it could be called a boundary, where there are certain topics that are off limits that I don't share with people, because they're conversations that should be had with my husband. I don't ever talk shit on my husband to anybody else. It's something that I, even oversharing with family and things that you didn't think were talking shit could be taken to hurt him or friends. And so it's just something I learned about 5 years ago. I felt like I had people in my life that I could just share anything with. And I'm walking right into those relationships thinking, yeah, they care about me. They love me. I just want to share what's bugging me. And it wasn't ever anything about him or meant to be negative towards him, but it can be spun anyway. And I look back on those moments, I'm like, I was so dumb, but it was such a good learning lesson for me. So I'm glad it happened. And now I realize there's just certain kind of levels that you can open up to certain people. But there's one person in my life that I trust with everything, and he trusts me, and I hold that sacred. So I'd never want to hurt him in that way or kind of overshare with people. So I think it just kind of continues to create boundaries with me and with us.
You brought a word into it that I love, and that's integrity. And what does that mean to you?
To me, it means, I think it's kind of a more than just a straight definition, but to me, it's like kind of what Jason said. We have this foundation that is uncracked, and we intentionally built it that way. So I don't ever want anything that will start to drill holes or drill cracks in that. So that's our trust, our bond, our love, my love language towards him and his towards me, his vulnerability, that he can just crush the world all day and then know that he has a place to come home, and like he can, lay his head on my chest and know that it's a safe place for him to just be. I don't ever want to hurt him in that way by doing something on my end that would make him feel like he can't be vulnerable.
That's awesome. And when I think of integrity, one big thing for me is it's my word, right? But my integrity is the word that I give to something, and then it shows up in action. And I think for those that are committed or looking to enhance their own personal relationships, first place for me on integrity starts with time integrity. I say I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time. That's my word. If I'm not showing up on that time, it's important to check in, especially, like if I tell Liz I'm going to be somewhere, I don't care if I'm driving 4 hours away, I'm like, hey, clock. Now that means I may push the pedal down to the metal at some point, because I'm like, nah, I'm going to be on time. We've had dinners with you all, like we're driving 8 to 10 hours to get there, and we show up at that time. And I think that to me is so important in relationships, to just have that time integrity that says, okay, I value your time, which means I value you, because all you have really is your time. And so thank you for being somebody that exemplifies integrity. Liz, too much is too much. Am I talking too much?
Cool. Well, Sid, I do cringe a little bit every time you talk about the importance of time integrity. And my birthday is coming up December 15th. And I was supposed to be born in November. So my mom always tells me like I was born late. So I come by it honest in that way. And when you speak your opinion on that, I'm like, whew, it's my life in shambles because I'm late for everything all the time. But that's my growing edge, I suppose. So I'm not going to take ownership of that, but I hear what you're saying, and I take that and think of it as the importance of communication. So that's where my too much is kind of going towards. And that was coming up too with what Emily was sharing, because this concept of too much to me is really subjective. And so I feel like it comes back to communicating with those people in your life. And Sid, I know you give me such grace on that time integrity part. And that is what I feel like gives us more ease. And so to really figure out like what is too much to me, what is too much to you, and then being present with each other to really hear each other out when it's like, hey, Liz, I really need to be here at this time. Get your butt out the door. However you may choose to voice that. And I know that that's important to you. So I do try a little extra harder to be on time when it involves you.
I know you do. 100%. I so much that I actually forgot that you are one of those people that I have to be like, hey, let's get in our integrity and be there on time, which then usually means, hey, Liz, an hour ahead. Are you going to start getting ready? Well, what about you? Well, I'll be ready in 10 minutes beforehand.
Well, Sid, you can look at it this way. She gives you the opportunity to extend grace.
Yes. 100%.
Very generous.
Yeah.
I get to, she has, which is amazing because she is one of the most patient people I know. And she's taught me patience. I mean, not because of her time or that really, I love her enough to be like, all right, okay, Liz, are we going? And being okay with that. That's just part of it. But for me, in my head, this person, if I say I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time, I'm letting you know if I'm a minute late. It's just how it works, Yeah, it's been drilled into me, So, Jason, go for it.
Emily, what's our line about the wizard? What is it?
Oh, it's from Lord of the Rings. It's not our line. It's Gandalf's line.
Oh, it's our line now.
But it's a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. And that is something I've grown into by being married to Jason.
Yes. So that's what we, Liz, you and I are in the same boat. I get there when I get there. You're gonna get everything when I show up, man. I'm with you. Like I'm there. You get all of me. I'm not distracted. I'm not thinking about nothing else. But I might get there 15 minutes late, or 10 minutes late, and 15 minutes late to somebody who cares about time. And I understand it. I mean, it was a good lesson for me when I was younger. Had a guy that was a sort of a mentor to me, and I did a lot of work for him. And back then, a lot of work to me was everything. It was the rent. It was the, feeding my kids and that kind of stuff. And I showed up 10, 15 minutes late to a construction site where I was meeting with him. And he goes, Jason, I love you, but you ain't getting any more of my work. And I was like, what? It taught me it was, again, I care deeply about other people. I care deeply, and me not showing up on time, it's, and I had to tell Emily when we got together, I said, you've got to watch the movie Flubber, because there will be times when I get caught up in whatever it is that I'm doing, or being present with working with somebody, or in a conversation that the world falls away. Like when we're at dinner together, the world falls away. There's nothing that's going to distract us. We're not in a hurry to eat. We're not in it. What's coming next? We're not like, we're with each other. And so I get those Flubber moments. And those of you that haven't seen the movie, it's a professor who misses his own wedding because he's, inventing Flubber, which, was a world changing thing. So I'm always inventing Flubber. Right. And sometimes I told that to Emily, I said, you're just going to have to pull me out sometimes. You're just going to have to pull me out, and she does it so gracefully, and it is something that she's grown into and grown from. And she likes to be on time. And, but it is, I love the word integrity, and as it ties in, when you think about a strong foundation, most oftentimes people are talking about the integrity of the foundation, right? It is a strength, and whether it's time or whatever it is, you should be honorable with your word. When I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I do it, right? It may be a couple of minutes late, but I will move heaven and earth to make sure that I do get it done. And so that's funny that the time thing came up.
It doesn't, but we do all of our clocks that are manual, like our stove and things like that, that we keep them all 8 minutes like later in time. So if it's 8:41 now, it's 8:47 on our clocks in there and microwave and everything, because it actually makes us on time. So it's a psychological trick we play on ourselves until my dad comes into town, and then he puts all our clocks on time because he thinks it needs fixed. And then we're completely late for everything for a week until we realize that my dad fixed everything for us. But yeah, that's how we help.
There's tricks. And everybody that knows me just sets they tell me a half an hour ahead of time. They're just like, okay, the meeting's at noon. So they tell me 11:30.
Right on. I get that. I mean, you go sit with some of my elders. I'll be like, Grandma, we're supposed to end at 8 o'clock. It's now 8:30. Grandma, it's now 9. Grandma, okay, everybody, we're on Grandma's time.
Exactly. They've earned it. They've earned it, man. The older I get, the more I respect my grandparents. It's like my grandma could say anything that she wanted to, and it's like, she's earned it. She can do whatever she wants.
Right. Doc said that 10 minutes early is on time to him. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I know it's so important too. I do. But it's also like, again, if people that are militant with time could look at it like we're just as militant about not being on time. And then there's that grace for both of us. Right. Because we could easily form opinions about what's wrong with you guys having to be on time all the time, but we don't, because people who are late are usually filled with more grace.
I like where this is going.
Crazy.
I'm trying to drop my mic again.
Spin that.
What does it say?
That's orange. It's orange. I don't have cheese.
It's close enough. Close enough. To prevent this from going on 15 more minutes of why that argument, I could poke holes in that argument, we can move on to the next.
I know.
piece.
Exactly. We got we're in a box. This is like tic-tac-toe, and no, that is not on the board.
And guess what?
People would say that.
Yeah, they would. They would. To me and Liz, we're just like wandering around. It's beautiful in here. Why we got to go somewhere else? It's fine.
Yes. No.
Look at how uncomfortable you are. Look at you. You're just shaking his shoulders.
I'm moving on. Moving on from the cheese. Moving on. Good. I will. So we're going to Liz and Ryan. Notice Ryan put in the thing.
Oh, yeah.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. I saw that right as we're talking about time. Good job, Ryan, keeping us on time.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you. So Liz, here's the question that I'm not sure, this may be the last, who knows how it'll work. What are you attracting in your relationship now? That's what I want to know, because I'm in it.
Well, of course I'm attracting peace. I mean, how could I not if you've ever met Sid? And I'm trying to think how to say this, because in my mind it comes across a bit selfish, but I feel like when you say yes to a committed relationship such as what we have, I'm committed to being my best. And I feel like when I'm in that space, I see that in you, and you see that in me. And it's like this union that just elevates both of us. And that's something that has been new for me with our relationship. I think before you, I always looked for like this concept of perfection or something that I liked in another person. But you've taught me to really like see myself and grow within myself. And from that space, I see that in you. And that's been a really beautiful partnership. And something that has helped me to grow in other relationships, outside of an intimate relationship. But I think that really exists in any relationship, that possibility of elevating myself and seeing that in other people.
I love that. And thank you for the reminder, because as you were sharing that, I remember sitting with my grandma, and we just talked about her, and it's probably why it came up. And she was like, okay, grandson, these relationships aren't working for you. You keep giving 50% and they're giving 50% and it's not working. And then finally it hit me and I was like, oh, grandma, I get it. So if I give 50 and she gives 50, we have a half-assed relationship. We both have to give 100 to have a full-on relationship. And then, so Liz got to meet Sid on the other side of that conversation, so it worked out really well. So thank you for being 100%. You're perfect, even in the moments that you may think Sid's ready to get out the house. You're still perfect to me. So thank you for that. Jason, what you got?
We are always creating adventure and playfulness. Again, there's very little that Emily and I do that's not intentional. It is adventurous. We have lots of plans. We've lived a crazy, in 7 years, I can tell you that most people don't live what we've lived in 7 years. They don't live it in a lifetime. And it's because it's intentional. We live very much so by, if this minute was the last minute that we spent together, we gave each other everything that we had, and there would be nothing left except for the new adventure or and even maybe in death. And that would be the next new adventure. But, I think that playfulness, service, if you're around Emily for 5 seconds, that she's very servant hearted. And that's a big part of our relationship. We give a lot of who we are, and to other people and to causes that mean something to us, and a lot of grace. Like, I keep using that word tonight, but it takes a lot of grace. I would say for her to be with me in general, but I think it takes a lot of grace to be in relationship to anybody in the world, and especially in a world that's tipped towards selfishness, to have a lot of grace and to counteract that with other energy, service-oriented energy, all the way down to the people that we talk to and interact with, whether it's Ubers or servers or whoever it is. But that's it. And I'm big into the playfulness thing. I love to laugh. And that's what I think that we attract into our relationship, and we create more than attract.
Right on. And I just have to go, woo, woo, woo. Lauren said, wow, nicely put, Liz. Liz McNairy for Prez. Love it.
I'd vote for you.
Yeah, right. Me too.
Yeah. Amen.
See how that works out, Liz. You may be running for president. I like it. Emily, what you got? What are you creating?
I think the biggest thing that we're creating and attracting, in my point of view, is peace, to be honest. I mean, it's the theme of your show, coincidentally, but I really think we have created a relationship that is based around peace and joy, playfulness, like Jason said, adventure, but it's intentionally avoiding drama, fighting, being argumentative for argumentative's sake. And what I have found is that I believe that people have a propensity to think that something has to be wrong to feel like
normal.
Yeah, there's a certainty that comes with being frustrated or being upset by something, or having something that, there's a problem with something, or you have to fix something. And I think that feeling it provides so much certainty for people that they actually don't know that they can live without it in every capacity. And Jason and I mean, I've worked on that in my life starting about 7 years ago. And it was probably about a year ago, maybe less, that it really just clicked for me, where I was like, wait, nothing has to be wrong ever. Nothing has to be wrong. And life is really good that way. It doesn't have to be wrong with someone else. I don't have to set my concerns on someone else to try to fix them, to make myself feel better, to get that certainty. My certainty can come from the beautiful uncertainty of having a joyful, playful, loving, kind, carefree, joyful life. And it's pretty amazing, because you realize how much better that is, and how you had to retrain all of your programming growing up that taught you that conflict was good, or conflict was the certainty that you needed. And so we don't have that, and it's so freeing. And I make sure that I'm around people that aren't stirring conflict, and in the instances that I am around those people, that I can hopefully share what I've learned in that world, so they can learn about it too. That's what I want. But you also have to make sure you're still protecting that relationship. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we're attracting. And it has been the best thing. And I think that's why people gravitate towards being around Jason or me, or both of us and you two, is because there's a place here where you can actually take off your burden of whatever's troubling you or top of mind. And you can just be okay with being happy, with doing well. If you're making money, we're going to congratulate you. If your business is taking off, that's amazing. We're not going to turn around and just talk shit afterwards. We're going to pray for you. If you're struggling, we're going to love you. We're going to pray for you. And we're not perfect, but man, that type of love, and that has changed my life. So I've just seen how much I want to give it to others, because that's the only thing that's ever transformed me. Conflict and talking on people's back, that's never helped me. People browbeating me and saying I have to be better in this area, that's never helped me. But people who love me and say, hey, it's okay to be happy, and God loves you, and I love you, and I have joy and you can have joy, I'm like, I want that. So that's I think what we attract.
I love it. I love it. And want to give everybody, Ryan has now let us know that we are 10 minutes, which is now 7 minutes left. And so as we wrap up, I'd love to hear just, what is it that's been really powerful for, I always know that when I'm teaching about peace, it's challenging me all the time. Like I have to get into that integrity of being at peace and walking it and bringing it forward, and how is it shifting in my life. So I'd love to hear as we wrap up. We'll start with Jason, so Jason doesn't take all of your time. Yeah. Where I have to say that now that I know Emily is on the time thing with me, and here we're going to Jason. So with that, just what is it that's really getting created for you? What's your takeaway from all of this? And as we begin to wrap up, go for it.
By the way, the universe won't melt if we stop 3 minutes late, but just kidding. So I think as it pertains to relationship, one of the great things about everything that we talked about tonight, what it creates for me is knowing that I have a partner that is going to follow me into the breach, and knowing that we're there for service, for adventure, for love, is that the things that we can take on together they're bigger than what I could have done by myself. There's a lot of opportunity in this world to serve, and there's a lot of challenges that need new thinking. You and I, like, my favorite conversations throughout the week are our messages back and forth to each other. They're not easy conversations. I can tell you that we are addressing the world's challenges. This man wants to be president, and I want to know how he thinks. He wants to know who's in his corner, those kind of things. And I just love the way that Emily and I can talk about anything. She helped sharpen my message. That I think is what's great. There's a lot of really great things. You're doing what you're doing in the world. I'm doing what I'm doing on the economic freedom side, and which is a message that needs to be said more and more. And knowing that I've got Emily to sharpen those messages, and that she's got my back, and it's everything to me. It's everything to me that I know I've got the perfect woman with me in my battles, and somebody that'll stand behind me no matter what.
I love it. Emily,
can you repeat the question?
Yes, sure. What is your takeaway from tonight, as well as, what have you seen yourself creating over the last month in the name of peace? Go for it.
To keep it brief, I think it's kind of what I spoke to earlier, is I'm trying to very consciously and intentionally create a home and a place where we don't ever have conflict. I mean, there's necessary conflict, things like that. Like Jason said, we make each other better and we refine each other, but conflict for conflict's sake, we don't do. And I think that's been a big thing actually over the last 8 months or so. So I think that's a big thing. And I will say that I have, in the past 3 years, I don't think I've been on time for anything. So he has rubbed off on me in that way. So that is a big learning point. And I can, just for the people who are on time, you can be switched to the other side, and it's devastating for a while, but it's okay here, and I'm okay here, and I'm happy here now. But you will miss a lot of flights, and it's okay. And you realize that's okay too. You just have to buy another one.
Yeah.
Liz, what you got? I'm glad it's not
I'm not taking away missing flights for sure. Okay, so staying on time here and focused. I think what I take away from this is that relationships are such a gift. And I feel like it brings me back to actually like a level of faith. And when challenges arise, that to me is like God kind of placing a little challenge of, do you want to step up to your highest self, or do you want to shy away? And so I get to see that with relationship. And Sid, our relationship has really taught me that, because I have found a level of trust and faith in our love that has reinstilled that faith in others, that when I look at someone else, I see Creator, I see God. And when they show me a side of them that I don't necessarily want to see, or it strikes something in me that's negative, then I try to remind myself, like, that's showing up for a reason and an opportunity to step up.
I love it, and love all of you. It's really a pleasure to have this moment, and actually have our moments that we have and share at dinners and our time, and look forward to many more to come. And so excited for all of this. And Lauren said to everyone, have happy holidays. So however anybody's celebrating, celebrate well. May you find peace in every way in that way. And as we wind it up, thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to tune in. And lesson 10, the foundation is poured. Now it's time for you to go ahead and take that to another place for yourself where you can lift up. And remember that in the vein of things, as you're moving through, we want to make sure that we start to realize we cannot separate from anything. We can't separate from each other, no matter what. We are all in relationship with each other, even if we never see each other or never even meet each other. From me to you, there are atoms that go directly to touching nothing else except for you, no matter where you are in the world. So I know that when I have peace in me, it may touch someone else. It definitely is. And that other person may refrain from doing something that would be harmful to another, just because I've developed that level of peace in me. So may we all find peace, work on it this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you for being here. Peace.